Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me as always, once again on Personal Pension Radio. I absolutely appreciate all of the support. I appreciate the questions, the emails. I appreciate the downloads. All of that. I love it. I love that this podcast reaches all over the world. It's fantastic. And I truly am humbled by that. I'm going to jump in today. This is episode 206. Episode 206. That just blows me away. Love that. So thank you again. Quick disclosure, I am not an attorney. I am not a CPA. I am a certified financial planner professional. As cool as my Amazon clearance discount microphone makes me sound, please don't act on things that you hear on my show as if you're hearing advice for you personally. Please meet with a qualified, hopefully certifiable financial planner to go over your specific situation and get actionable advice that is truly for you specifically. And heaven forbid that you would actually take advice from a financial entertainer, someone who's not licensed, who's not monitored or regulated, who really has no business giving out financial advice on the radio, on a podcast, on TV. You really should meet with a qualified, certified financial planner in person so that you have that opportunity to get a specific direction for you. Now, as I mentioned, just going to jump right in today. I want to make sure that I do stay true to my commitment to now and then put out a quicker episode. Sometimes I get long-winded. My wife would be laughing right now if she was awake. Yes, I am recording this nice and early in the morning and letting her sleep in. I'm going to jump in. I do have a deal of the week, Kraig's deal of the week, and I actually post this. I added this. It was inspired by a podcast that I've listened to and a radio show I've listened to for years, and that's Clark Howard. If you've never listened to Clark Howard's show, Clark Howard is just an excellent resource for all things discounts and just not necessarily being cheap, but enjoying life without spending a ton of money or any more money than is absolutely necessary. So this is my homage. This is Kraig's deal of the week. And I was at my car show. I do run a car show every Saturday. I run Cars and Coffee Corona. You can look it up on Facebook or Instagram, Cars and Coffee Corona. So I'm there, and a guy at the car show complimented me. All right, it's always nice when another dude gives you a compliment. He complimented me on my bright blue fishing shirt. So I have these, I like these bass fishing or, just fishing shirts that are this nice lightweight material. They're airy. They're actually vented in the back. They got the pockets and all that good stuff, but they're really comfortable in California in general when it's super hot. So he said he loves those shirts because they've got great pockets and all the same stuff I just said. He said, yeah, I buy my shirts at Bass Pro Shops, right? Bass Pro Shop. Well, what I didn't tell him is that I purchase my shirts on AliExpress. So if you don't know what AliExpress is it's like the Amazon website for manufacturers in China and other places, but largely in China. AliExpress allows you to buy oftentimes directly from the manufacturer that makes things that you end up seeing on Amazon and, ironically, I saw at Sam's Club months later. So I purchased these really nice fishing shirts on AliExpress directly from the manufacturer in China, and they were about $12 a piece. $12 a piece. The reason that I don't have more of these very comfortable fishing shirts is because at Bass Pro Shops, the guy that I was talking to paid $50 a piece. $50 a piece, and that's a minimum. If you got a different brand, you could spend as much as $60 or $70 on this fishing shirt. So at the average price, I figure of $50, I paid $12. I saved $38. I got my shirts for 76% less than this guy who was complimenting me on my fishing shirts, right? So ironically, as I mentioned earlier, weeks later, after I had my fishing shirts from AliExpress, I see the exact same shirt at Sam's Club. But of course, Sam's Club buys these shirts by the truckload, so they actually get a much, much better price. And they were selling for $12. Basically $12. I was able to buy a few more at $12, but the fun part was I didn't have to pay $50 for the typical retail price of my fishing shirt. So there's my deal of the week. Now, segment 1 of my show has always been Watch Your Step. Watch Your Step is the idea that there's so much information and content out there. I want you to really pay attention and just watch out. Don't just dive right into something like it's gospel. Ask some questions. Take a look. Check it out, right? This episode, I really want to focus on something that's been coming up quite a bit lately. It's this idea of, hey, should I invest? Well, invest in what? Oh, I need to invest. Well, okay. Just step back for a quick sec before you get sucked into all of the hype and ask yourself this simple question. What comes next after a 10-year increase in virtually all investment markets across all investment types? After a 10-plus year increase, what comes next? Well, I don't have to say it. You know that a dip or a drop or a recession or a correction or whatever you want to call it is coming. It's inevitable. I don't know when. I don't predict it. Anybody who does, I think, is just a little bit off their rocker. Be careful and be prepared. Maybe consider taking some poker chips off the table. Right? Maybe consider getting some of the dollars that you may have out there in the investment world. Maybe consider getting some of those off the poker table, right? Just my little cautionary piece for you. Think about it. Don't get sucked into the hype as you're sitting there in the roller coaster. This is the image. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, you click all the way to the top, and then the front cars will start to hang over that dip on the other side. And if you're in the back car, your car is the last to click and let go before it heads down the hill on the other side, right? Now, please, I am not sky is falling guy saying, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. No, I'm just suggesting that you watch your step out there, that you don't get sucked into any kind of hype on, invest. Be careful. Be prepared. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to do is I really want to give you, a little bit of a revisit to an episode I did recently on paying off mortgages and 15-year mortgages versus 30-year mortgages and such. And I want to caution you once again that the world out there has so much content from financial entertainers, from banks, from financial companies. Paying off your mortgage is this and paying off your mortgage is that, right? I had a recent comment from a listener. They heard a podcast episode that I had done recently on my position with Dave Ramsey and what he says about paying down your mortgage is a smart thing to do. The listener was questioning my insistence that paying down a mortgage early is risky and does not make economic sense. So hear that again. I'm saying that in most cases, many cases, in a lot of cases, did I hit all of the various different phrases correctly? That paying down your mortgage early is risky with a capital R and does not make economic sense, right? First, I want to urge you, the listener, to be objective. Be a person, right, that is not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering the facts. Step back, be objective. Don't get sucked into the hype, right? Don't get sucked into even my own words. If you ever want to double check this whole thing about mortgages, the best thing for you to do is to actually send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com, Kraig@kraigstrom.com, and that's Kraig with a K. And I will go through the mortgage analysis in your specific situation using actual analytics, actual math, real numbers, no feelings, no guesswork, no hyperbole, just boom, here's the real numbers, and then you can decide, right? So be objective. Don't get swept up in the soundbite and the feel-good pitch of a paid-off house. Oh, it feels good. Oh, we get the mortgage burning party. But you know who's really having the party when you burn your mortgage? The bank. Because the bank's money is no longer locked up in your house. They got all their money back. All of your money is now locked up in your house. The bank is having the party. They're wondering why you're having a party. They're the ones who have the party because they got the money back and they get to go roll it again and again and again. Step back and do your own math. Maybe your math works out great with a 15-year mortgage. It happens. Maybe you are one of the few people who buy a house and you never move again. Right? The average American moves every 7 years. So why are we aggressively paying down a mortgage on a house that we're not going to live in forever? What I find in the real world is that the economics, the math, often proves that using a 30-year mortgage and investing the difference being what it would cost you for a 15-year mortgage, using a 30-year mortgage and investing the difference nets you, gets you, allows you to keep much, much more in the long run. So this listener who got back in touch with me, I have to say, the feeling that I got from the email and the comments and such was really emotional, tied to a financial entertainer for sure, and almost like part of a tribe, like, the leader of my tribe can't be wrong. It's impossible. This is impossible. Well, step back and be objective. Don't just send a comment that says, I'm wrong, Kraig's wrong. Well, test your theory. Take me up on the offer, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. Let's run your numbers side by side. Let's do the math, the actual analysis. Let's do the work that the financial entertainers never do because they don't have time in their 30-second soundbite to give out actual legitimate analysis and advice. So that's my take on it. Watch your step. Now, in the segment for listener questions and observations that I have next in segment 2, the last time I emphasized in the last episode this idea that what you keep matters most in most situations. If I could just use most 5 more times, that'll be great. Sorry about that. What you keep is so important, and it's asset protection and protecting yourself from outside predators and creditors coming in and suing you or the risk of them taking your money. That is so critical that you hear that. If you have not listened to the last episode where I take a deep dive into asset protection, please get there. Go through that episode and make sure that you send me an email if you feel like you're not personally protected. If you haven't had someone at my level and experience review your home insurance, your car insurance, your living trust, your LLCs, your corporate protection, all of the things that make sure that other people and other stuff can't come in and take your stuff, then you're not, perhaps you may not be as protected as you should be. So please, asset protection is critical. It goes with your estate planning. In the last episode, I talked about my meeting with a widower, and this gentleman lost, combined between him and his stepkids, they lost $650,000 with legal fees because they didn't have a living trust, for crying out loud. A simple living trust that costs less than $2,000. They didn't have it in place. It cost $650,000 because he and stepkids were bickering and arguing. And in California for 2 years, cost $650,000. Get your estate plan done. I am here to help. I've made a special arrangement with my law firm to do a really good estate plan for less than $2,000. That is awesome. If you haven't got it done, send me an email, craig@craigstrom.com. Now, this episode, I want to touch on something. I had a quick question from someone, and this is really quick. Paying for college versus saving for retirement. What should we do? Well, here's my flat out quick answer. Save for your retirement. Save for your retirement and tell your kids the real truth. You figure out how to pay for college because we're not going to live poor when we're 90 so that you can go get a college degree that you might have to work for instead. That's my answer. Right? I've told my daughter off at school that I will not sacrifice my retirement lifestyle so that she can go get a master's degree. That's fine. She needs to prepare. I prepared her long ago that she needs to be ready to work her way through her own master's program. I'm going to help her through her bachelor's, and that's what we've done. We've helped. We have not completely subsidized, but we have subsidized my daughter through college. I only have one child. It's not super expensive, and she has legitimately been working and paying her own way in a lot of things, so that's great. But I have long prepared her when she was in high school early on that I will not pay for her master's program or anything past that she is going to have to work her way through that kind of a program. She needs to be ready for that because I'm not going to sacrifice my retirement throwing out another $40,000 or more on a master's program. And nowadays, the cost of these programs, I'm telling you, and the amount of income that these kids might expect to see on the way out, it is just not a good rate of return and not a good return on investment in a lot of ways. The amount of money spent on that college degree and the amount of income they might expect to earn on the other side of that degree, it is not commensurate. It is not a good investment per se. So my answer when folks ask me about saving for college versus retirement, I suggest that the best financial example you could set for your kids is to have a good financially secure retirement. Don't be that poor couple that are scrimping and sacrificing in retirement and doing nothing and can't travel and can't enjoy their lives because you slaved away and gave all your money to your kid, right? When your kid might have been able to actually work for it. That's my take. I'm sticking with it at this point. Now, listener Rob writes in with a question. He says, Craig, I listened to one of your shows where you said that you buy everything with a credit card. Really? Everything? That was his question. Thanks, Rob, for the question. I really appreciate it. And yes, I buy everything, really everything I can with a credit card. I happen to use the Southwest Airlines credit card from Chase because my wife and I do a fair amount of air travel in the U.S. Now, because we use our Southwest card for every possible purchase, we usually have a significant amount of flight points, right? Travel points on our account. So that means that I rarely pay for airline tickets anymore. I don't pay for airline tickets. When I fly to see my daughter just recently in Arizona, I use airline points. I just hop on the plane, and I also get a discount on the hotel that I book because I have that same airline points account and I can book the hotel through my credit card. Think about the retail world we live in. This is what I want you to think about. For those of you out there who are devotees of a certain financial entertainer who says credit cards are evil and you shouldn't use your credit cards and credit cards are terrible. Well, I disagree, because I want you to think about the retail world we live in. Whether it's Amazon, Walmart, the car dealership, wherever you are, the pharmacy, every retailer, from convenience stores to car dealerships, have built in the cost of credit card fees into their pricing model. When you pay cash for something at Walmart, you are paying for the 2 to 3% credit card fee markup that is built into the price of everything in the store. It is inevitable. You are rarely in a store anymore, rarely in an establishment anymore that gives you a discount for paying cash. It does exist, don't get me wrong, but none of the big Main Street type places that you're going to be, that I'm at anyway, have a separate thing. Like when I walk up to the register at Walmart and I buy my stuff and I say I'm going to pay cash, I don't automatically see a little 2.5% discount. Oh, thank you for paying cash. Here's your cash discount. No, I pay the same exact price if I pay cash versus credit card. And built into the pricing model everywhere is the credit card fee. It's there, right? You get zero benefit in return. You pay the fee anyway when you pay cash, but you get zero benefits in return. On the other hand, when I pay with my credit card, I get points towards future airline travel and other purchases. This year alone, I've cashed in hundreds and hundreds of dollars in airline points that would have been left on the table if I had paid cash. Now, left on the table is the credit card and merchant payment system table, right? That's just the way it is. They build it into the price because people use credit cards, right? Now, somebody asked me, you're wondering, what was your biggest credit card purchase that you put on your credit card there, Kraig? Great question, right? What was my biggest credit card purchase so far? This year, I thought about this. This year, my car club needed to rent a venue. It was a fairly expensive rental. And I asked, because I was the one booking the venue, I said, hey, can we use a credit card to book this venue? And the venue said yes. Well, I said, all right, do you charge anything for that? No, they didn't add an upcharge for the credit card fees. I verified with my club that they would reimburse me, and boom, I put down my credit card for a $15,000 charge to rent the venue, and I was reimbursed by the club days later. Bam, 15,000 points on my card. Yes, my airline travel will be free next year and the year after. I mean, I don't have to worry about paying for plane tickets for quite some time. I love it, right? Now, the key to credit cards is discipline. The key to credit card is a disciplined approach. You can't just spend on a credit card without connecting the dots, right? That you must have cash to pay for that particular bill. So my wife and I are extremely disciplined with our credit card transactions. We're not buying things just willy-nilly. We pay off the credit card. We treat it just like it is cash. We have a mindset that the credit card is cash. So if you're not disciplined with credit cards, if you're not really comfortable keeping yourself in check, yes, cash does have an extremely good benefit in that it makes you think, well, there's some cash, that's gone, I don't have the cash anymore. Whereas credit cards are like, let's just charge it. If you're not entirely disciplined, credit cards are not necessarily the best thing to do, especially young kids, for example. If you haven't really taught them to be careful with the credit card, that can be a very dangerous thing. But my wife and I are extremely disciplined with our credit cards. And yes, we do buy literally everything on a credit card. I bought something that actually cost $1.50 on my credit card recently because I didn't want to break a 20 because I would end up with all this loose cash in my money clip. I just like the simple $20 bill. And I decided, here's my credit card, right? Because I was in a store, and I know they've already marked up that small item. It was like a Gatorade or something. They've already marked up that item with the credit card fee, so I just gave them my credit card because it's included in the price anyway. It's not hurting the retailer. They built it into the price, right? That's the idea. Now, a bonus to this credit card topic, and thanks, Rod, for the question. I hope this has been helpful, but the bonus I wanted to say is that some people, and there's tons of blogs and website articles and YouTube videos about this, and I have been interested in it, but I don't really travel enough that this makes sense for me to look at. But there are some folks that do credit card travel hacking, right, where they use credit cards like ninjas, like they are really maneuvering between multiple different credit cards and using the various different points and free travel points and sign up for this card and pay off that card and use this card to buy this, that, and the other thing. And they're using it to hack their travel, like to get discounts and to get free plane tickets and various other things that are not as simple as what my wife and I do with a Southwest card. So if you're interested in that, just Google credit card travel hacking, and there is a ton of information. It can work really well for folks that just want to do a lot of traveling. I understand that there's some awesome benefits to really, getting tight on your credit card travel hacking maneuvers. Now, that's going to wrap it up today. I promise to keep it short. Please, you heard me say, get your estate plan done. Oh my gosh, I'm still reeling from the reality that this fine gentleman and his stepkids, those good-for-nothing stepkids, I tell you, they really just made it so difficult. But I'm not going down that road. It cost $650,000 because they didn't have a living trust. Oh my gosh. Get your estate plan done. My offer stands. Send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. Say estate planning. Let's dive into that conversation for you. Get it done. I'm here to help. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio podcast. We took notes for you, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find a full transcript of each episode at personalpensionradio.com. Be sure to download your free retirement income crisis report at personalpensionradio.com. While you're at it, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening. Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.